it's Valkyrie. I'm currently working on a wildfire fighting startup to assist frontline workers in fighting fires more effectively and creating a more efficient system. And through our research, we've stumbled upon a pretty interesting substance that has the ability to change everything about firefighting. And possibly the most interesting thing about it is that it's been completely forgotten. It's called Starlight, and you can make it with things that you can find just laying around your house. Let's take a look. Here's a recipe. 50 grams of flour in 2 parts, 30 grams of cornstarch, 30 grams of powdered sugar, 30 grams of baking soda, and 35 grams of water. All you have to do is mix each part of cornstarch, powdered sugar, and baking soda with 1 part of the flour, mix in the water, and then add the rest of the flour. It should form a putty. I'd like to give credit to the YouTube channel Nighthawkin This is kind of his recipe, and I just tweaked the measurements a little bit. And if you want to know a little bit more about Starlight, then I will be getting into in this video. He does a really good deep dive on it, and I'll link that down below. Now, what's so special about this substance? Why don't we test it? Hold on, we actually need to know what we're making first. This substance is called Starlight and was originally invented by Maurice Ward, an amateur scientist and hairdresser who wanted to build a business around inventing a new kind of plastic. He kind of experimented with a bunch of different things and eventually landed on this product, Starlight. He stumbled upon it by accident and didn't really know why it worked, but it was just the fact that it did that enlightened him. In fact, he didn't really know anything about it at all, just that he knew if it was implemented correctly, it could make him a lot of money. So he never filed a patent, and there's still no real patent filed for the substance to this day. He was basically afraid of people stealing his idea and him not being able to have complete control over the market. Ward did a demonstration on TV to showcase the properties of this insane material and proved that the material was extremely fire and heat resistant. They covered an egg in it and held a torch lighter to it for 5 minutes, and once the time was up, not only did the material cool in seconds so they could touch it, but the egg was completely raw inside. This brought a ton of publicity to Maurice's doorstep. He began to test this material with people from NASA, Boeing, and a bunch of nuclear test facilities all over the world. But around this time, he also was notoriously hard to work with. He said he wouldn't sign any confidentiality agreements or really keep anything less than 51% of his company. He wanted to have complete control over the process and the people handling Starlight. He also wouldn't let the scientists have the secret formula or let anyone play with it when he wasn't physically present, meaning no one could really know anything about the substance without him being there. It eventually went underground, and the recipe is still unknown to this day. The only company with current rights to use the formula created by Maurice Ward himself is ThermaShield. This is a company dedicated to testing Starlight and implementing it in a bunch of different fields, namely the wildfire and production space. Okay, now back to this carefully guarded secret. So we've created this dough. It's pretty malleable. As you can see, I'm kind of like playing with it a little bit. Here's us recreating the egg experiment. We covered this egg with a thin layer of the Starlight material, and we didn't have a torch like Nighthawkin did in his video, but we did have a butane lighter that we held there for 5 minutes and then cracked the egg. As you can see here, the egg is still completely raw and it's charred on the outside, but you can kind of peel that off and reveal a relatively untouched layer of Starlight. I can put Starlight on pretty much anything and hold a flame by it, and it'll pretty much protect it. So how does this work? When the material is heated, it creates a carbon foam that moves in the direction of the flame and basically expands. There are a couple different components that Starlight needs to activate. You need a substance with carbon in it, which is powdered sugar in this case, a substance that releases CO2 when heated, inflates the material, in this case baking soda, and some kind of binder, which in this case is flour. Each formula needs to have elasticity, meaning there has to be bubbles in the material to be able to expand and create the carbon foam, which you can also think of as a wall that stops the heat from transferring through the material or onto your hand or on the egg. As long as you have a chemical that releases carbon, in this case the powdered sugar, when it burns, and a chemical that inflates to create a foam-like material, you can basically make Starlight out of anything. Another really simple recipe recommends that you use 2 equal parts of baking soda and cornstarch and a ton of white PVA glue, which in this case is just school glue, to make a similar substance. Students have been looking into it for years and years to be able to find the right guidelines to test it, whether that be under temperature or humidity, etc. But ThermaShield is still on track to do some amazing things with Starlight. They just haven't released it into the public eye. They fully acquired the technology and are looking for places it can be applied and implemented. Their team has been doing tests since 2013 and are dedicated to bringing Starlight to market. They say that one of their biggest areas of improvement has to be in building material, which I found extremely fascinating. Our company is looking for capital and expertise to develop, patent, and market the technology. Being in California, one of the key applications is wildfire protection in the building industry. Market demand is steering development into exterior cladding and residential siding applications. The feedback has been to integrate Starlight into current market products instead of making this a coating or a quote-unquote baked product. In reaction to the California and Australian wildfires, we are committed to this application and are actively developing several products with the help of our partners. This was a little deep dive onto this super material called Starlight. I think it's pretty cool. You can kind of make the same thing at your house. And I'm super curious to see where it goes from here and how it's applied in the future. Being someone in the wildfire tech space, I am always looking for new ways to improve technology and just change up a system that we haven't changed for the last 40 years. So this seems like something that I am just actively waiting for and hoping someone takes on. I'll link ThermoShield's website down below, as well as all of my socials and my podcast. I'm releasing a new podcast series where I talk about being an adult, being 18, being out in the world, and it's a really fun time. It's just kind of like a personal diary of sorts, so check it out if you'd like. If you like this video, please like and comment what you would like to see from me next or what you find interesting. Just send me something that's interesting. Thank you all for watching, subscribe for more content, and with that being said, this is Little Bird signing off.